You think your obsession with getting things done is your greatest strength. You think the 5 a.m. wake-up calls, the color-coded calendars, the endless to-do list, and the constant hum of what's next are proof that you're disciplined, focused, elite. But what if your productivity isn't a superpower? What if it's a carefully engineered escape room you built for yourself because you're terrified of what happens when the noise stops? Because when there's nothing to optimize, nothing to chase, nothing to fix, there's only you. Everything you've been told about the grind is a lie designed to keep you from realizing one thing. You are not running toward a goal, you are running away from yourself. And that's why, no matter how much you achieve, you still feel like you're falling behind. Meet James. 32 years old, mid-six-figure salary, minimalist apartment that looks like a magazine spread, white walls, neutral tones, no clutter, nothing unnecessary, including emotion. To the outside world, James is winning. But watch him on a Tuesday night. It's 9 p.m., work is done, gym session finished, meal prep dinner eaten while answering emails. And now, for the first time in 14 hours, the room is quiet. No meetings, no notifications, no objectives. His hand reaches for his phone almost automatically. His heart rate spikes, not from caffeine, but from the sudden, cold realization that there is nothing left to do. A wave of guilt crashes in. I should be reading that industry report. I should be networking. If I'm not growing, I'm dying. James isn't relaxing. He's vibrating. He calls this discipline. But look closer. His discipline is a frantic attempt to outrun a feeling of worthlessness that only catches up to him when he stops moving. He's confused achievement with safety. As long as he's productive, he feels protected. As long as he's useful, he feels allowed to exist. What James is experiencing isn't ambition. It's something psychologists now associate with chronic digital overengagement and identity outsourcing, what many researchers quietly refer to as productivity dysmorphia. Here's how it works. James's reward system is no longer calibrated for satisfaction. It's calibrated for relief. Every completed task doesn't bring fulfillment, it brings a brief lowering of anxiety. And the moment that anxiety drops, his brain immediately creates a new task to restore it. This is a dopamine debt loop. A 2023 Stanford study tracking executives and knowledge workers found something disturbing. People who describe themselves as always busy report higher anxiety, lower life satisfaction, and greater emotional numbness than people working fewer hours, not because they do more, but because their nervous systems never power down. Their brains no longer recognize done as a state, only not enough. But dopamine addiction isn't the deepest layer. Avoidance is. By staying relentlessly busy, James never has to ask the dangerous questions. Do I actually like my life, or just the validation it gives me? Who am I when no one needs anything from me? What remains when productivity is removed? His busyness is not ambition, it's armor. As long as he's optimizing, he never has to be. He's using achievement the way others use alcohol, porn, or scrolling to numb a wound he refuses to look at. 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius sat in a tent on the edge of a battlefield, facing political betrayal, war, plague, and the slow collapse of an empire, and wrote a sentence in his private journal. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. James believes his strength comes from income, status, and leverage. The Stoics would say he's enslaved. They believed in something called the Inner Citadel, the idea that if your peace depends on external outcomes, you are defenseless, a puppet controlled by circumstance, a prisoner of the world. If your self-worth rises and falls with your output, then your to-do list owns you. The intervention isn't quitting work, it's voluntary stillness. The cure sounds almost offensively simple: sit still. But that's precisely why it's so difficult. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the rehearsal of loss. What if James lost the job, the status, the praise, the productivity? If his identity is built on doing, he collapses. But if his identity is built on character, on how he meets silence, he becomes untouchable. Picture James sitting on his sofa, phone in another room, no music, no podcast, no learning, just 10 minutes of silence. The question surfaces, is this enough? The Stoic answer is brutal and freeing. Your worth does not increase with motion. You are sufficient, even if the world stops asking for you. The next night, the itch returns. The phone vibrates, a critical email from a client. Old James would have reacted instantly, that surge of importance, that hit of being needed. But new James pauses. He applies the dichotomy of control. Within his control, his response. Outside his control, the urgency, the client's expectations, the imagined consequences. He places the phone face down. The anxiety flares, sharp, physical. His internal alarm system screams, "You're falling behind." He doesn't argue with it. He doesn't suppress it. He observes it. "There is the fear," he whispers. He stays, and something strange happens. Nothing breaks. The world doesn't collapse. The ceiling doesn't cave in. For the first time in a decade, James isn't a high achiever. He's just a man. And in that stillness, he discovers a form of power no promotion has ever given him: self-possession. Now look at your own hands. Why does an empty calendar make you anxious? Why do you feel guilty sitting on the grass without a reason? Why does rest feel like failure? You've been sold a version of success that demands your nervous system as payment. You've been taught that busyness is virtue, when it's often a symptom of a soul that's forgotten how to be still. Here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, sit on the edge of your bed for 60 seconds and do absolutely nothing. No gratitude practice, no visualization, no breath work. Just exist. See if you can tolerate yourself. When the anxiety rises, and it will, don't escape back into productivity. Stay with it. Ask it what it's protecting you from. You are not a machine designed to produce. You are a human designed to exist. Stop building your prison. Start building your citadel. Because at the end of your life, no one will read your to-do list. They'll talk about who you were when you weren't doing anything at all.